Okay.
Thank you very much, Fred. Good evening. My name is Jason Perot, and I call to order this Tuesday, May 10th, 2022 meeting of the Groundwater Advisory Committee. This open meeting of the Groundwater Advisory Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of June 16, 2021, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. All members of the committee are allowed to and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows the committee to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. The agenda contains the YouTube live stream link. You can also go to the town website, look for the remote meetings button, and that should take you also to the YouTube live stream. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream, as I just said, ensuring public access does not ensure public participation. Unless such participation is required by law, this meeting will not feature public comment. I'd like to now confirm access by the members of the committee. Members, when I call your name, please unmute and respond in the affirmative. I am Jason Perot, representative from the Board of Selectmen. Anthony Zeiton, Planning Board.
Here.
Bryant Furman, Water and Sewer Commissioners. There you are, Bryant. Gotcha. And Diane Goldner, Conservation Commission.
Here.
Our representative from the Board of Health, Teresa Capabianco, is currently engaged in a meeting of the Board of Health and may not be able to join us this evening. Staff members, when I call your name, please unmute and respond in the affirmative. We have Fred Litchfield, Town Engineer.
Here.
And I'll just note that we also have Melanie Rich as our administrative support for meeting minutes. Meeting ground rules. As chair, I will invite each speaker or applicant on the agenda to make a presentation and speak to their application. Participants will provide their full name. Each speaker will be asked to mute their phone or computer when not speaking, and to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. And those responding will be asked to wait until the floor is yielded to them by the chair. Speakers who wish to respond to the comments of others, please request to do so through the chair, and each vote taken by the committee will be conducted by roll call. And I believe that concludes our preliminary script. And so, first item on the agenda is to consider the petition of Jessica Miller for a special permit and special permit with site plan approval in the Groundwater District for the operation of a home personal service, yoga, Reiki exercise on the property located at 62 Winter Street, map 45, parcel 10 in the residential C zoning district and groundwater protection overlay district area 3. The applicant and the representative are Jessica Miller. Fred, could you bring Jessica in?
Certainly. And there she is.
Hello, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Good. Could you just please state your name and address?
Yes, Jessica Miller, 62 Winter Street, Northborough.
Thank you. So the committee is in receipt of your application, which because the property happens to lie in groundwater overlay district area 3, requires an appearance before this board, even though the circumstances of the application don't appear to indicate anything relating to groundwater. Could you perhaps just take a moment and describe what you would like to do?
Yes, thank you. So my application is proposing to use an existing room in my home to hold private yoga, Reiki, and postpartum exercise appointments, and the occasional outdoor yoga class, weather permitting. So having the flexibility to do that. So yeah, that's in the short part of it.
Okay, very good. And in your response, you indicated there are no structural changes being made to the property, no changes to impervious cover on the grounds of the property.
Correct.
Essentially, no alterations beyond what the property currently has.
Thank you. Yes, I should have said that as well. So no new construction, nothing is being changed or added. It's all existing construction, just a room in my house as well as my existing property with no changes added.
Okay, very good. Members of the committee, you have any questions you would like to ask? Let me start with Diane Goldner, because Diane, I don't have you on video. Do you have any questions, Diane?
I do. How big is your room and how many people would you be able to use or have used it at one time?
Thank you. You know, I apologize. Let me just pull up my floor plan that I have so I can tell you the exact square footage. I'm sorry, bear with me. So while I'm doing that, as far as my, like the room itself would be, for private Reiki is only one person at a time. So a private Reiki appointment would be one person. As far as like private yoga could be one person. It could also be semi-private. So there might be like maybe 2 or 3 people if they wanted to do like a small semi-private group, as far as indoors. And same with postpartum exercise. I'm looking at like private appointments. The smaller actually, you know, in that 1 to 2 to 3 range is the best for just being able to be effective and really meet the client where they're at. As far as the outside for yard, it's all going to be who can fit the right amount of cars that can fit in my driveway, because there'll be no street parking allowed. So based with the application that I've submitted to the ZBA, and with square footage and the standard parking space, I was able to average 9 cars as a maximum in my driveway to allow for parking and no street parking allowed. But let me just get to the square footage of the room in the house. Oh, here it is. So it's 190 square feet.
And do you have the
Roughly
dimensions?
13 by 13.
Yeah, thank you.
And then there
Diane?
was like sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, go ahead. Yeah, please continue.
It was 13 by 13, but you know, when you do, when you do the square footage, when you have like a little, like, when it's not a perfect square, you have to factor in that little extra piece. So the extra piece is 3.5 by 6. So when you add when you have the 13 by 13 with the 3.5 by 6, it comes out to 190 square feet. And in my application, I have a schematic floor plan of the whole first floor. So you can see the relationship of the room that I intend to use with the rest of the first floor, where windows, doors, carbon monoxide, and smoke detectors are all represented.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Diane, any other questions?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Bryant, any questions?
No, I don't.
Anthony, any questions? I'm sorry, you're muted, Anthony.
I'm sorry if I missed this. Is there public sewer or septic?
Septic.
So I guess my only question would be for Fred, in the event when she's doing these outdoor things with 9 or 10 people, and would there be any concern from you in terms of the impact on septic and groundwater? No, I'm seeing Brian say no.
No, I don't see why there would be. I assume that they're not showering at the house. They're going to take their clothes and go home and take care of that. No additional load on the septic system, and it's no different than, you know, a group of people having a backyard barbecue being on the lawn. It's not going to impact the septic in that way. So unless
Sure.
there were additional bathrooms added to the house to accommodate multiple showers, there wouldn't be any need to worry about the septic system.
And my, thank you, Fred. And my with the yard, I have a side yard as well as the upper backyard. The upper backyard has the septic, so the side yard doesn't even have the septic system on it. So
Very good.
Yeah, so based on what I've read in Fred's review and the responses, I don't even see impact on groundwater.
Thank you, Anthony. I'll note that our Board of Health representative, Teresa Capabianco, joined the meeting at approximately 7:09 p.m. Teresa, do you have any questions concerning the application?
I do not. Thank you. It's well presented.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fred, let me ask you, you had a letter.
Yes. Initially, when I looked at this, I was not planning to bring the applicant before you, but in a closer review of the zoning interpretation form the building inspector prepared, he indicated that it needed a special permit. And when we talked about it, he just didn't find a place to put it in allowed by right use, even though it's a single family home. He thought because it was a home occupation, it required a special permit, and that he wanted to be extra careful and send him to you for a review. I could have written a letter and just said there's no issue, but I wanted to make sure the ZBA didn't extend the process because they didn't hear from the board themselves. I'm working with the building inspector to put some guidelines together for future home occupations that don't involve any building change, site changes, or hazard or toxic material, and just treat it as a single family home, which would be allowed by right in groundwater. Again, as long as there's no change of the septic system, no materials being stored, chemicals, and no expansion of parking or building addition or anything. There's no, I'm sorry that Jessica had to come here tonight, but I think it's important that we go through this process for this case, and then in the future, we will agree to review those zoning interpretations and only send them to you that need to be here. In lieu of that, I did prepare a letter, and I'd asked Jessica to just make sure that she could put in writing that she would not be having, she could answer those 5 questions that are always required for any special permit application. And I can read through them if you like, but Jessica put together a very nice letter, addressed each and every one. I had forwarded to all of you. It does basically say that she will not have any chemicals there. She's not doing any expansion of the building. She doesn't need a DEP permit for excessive groundwater infiltration for an enlarged septic system. It covers all the bases. It's the one thing that a lot of applicants don't submit, and that's the only thing that would have held up any review by your board. So as long as the Zoning Board of Appeals doesn't require her to have a larger driveway, add more parking, I don't see any reason why the committee couldn't recommend approval.
Okay, thank you very much, Fred.
Thank you, Fred.
Is there any further question by members of the committee? Diane, anything further?
No,
Bryant, anything further?
No.
Anthony?
No.
Teresa?
No, thank you.
Fred, just for my clarification, are we including any conditions to the effect that, subject to the applicant's representation, there are no hazardous materials or toxic materials involved in the operation of the proposed use?
I don't see any conditions other than if the applicant is required to do anything beyond what was proposed in the application in the way of expansion of the driveway or the building, then she'd have to come back. But provided that the application is approved by the ZBA as presented, this information that she submitted today satisfies the requirement for what's necessary for the submission of an application for a special permit. I would say you could recommend approval with that one caveat that as long as everything is as submitted. I don't have any conditions that I could possibly think of.
Very good then. So do I have a motion to recommend approval What was I just going to say, Fred?
Approval of the application as submitted.
Yes,
Um,
yes, of course.
Yes, I think.
Do I have a motion to recommend approval of the application as submitted?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second,
I have a motion by Teresa Capabianco, second by Diane Goldner. This is a roll call vote. Diane Goldner,
yes,
Teresa Capabianco,
Yes.
Brian Furman,
Yes.
Anthony Zeiton,
Yes.
and I, Jason Perot, vote yes. So the motion carries unanimously, and we wish you well in your appearance before the ZBA.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you
Okay.
very much, everyone.
thank
Well,
Very
you.
good.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Bye now.
Good night. Thank you. Take care.
Very good. Next up, we have review and approve minutes of the April 12th, 2022 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the meeting last month. Was that April
That's
22nd?
April 12th. Yep.
12th,
2022.
sorry,
Yep.
2020, as written.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Diane Goldner, seconded by Teresa Capabianco. Any discussion?
Mm-mm.
Seeing and hearing none. This is a roll call vote. Diane Goldner,
Yes,
Teresa Capabianco,
Yes.
Bryant Furman.
Ineligible.
That's right. That meeting, we only had 3 attendees, right?
Let me check the minutes.
So Bryant, you were saying you were abstaining?
Brian wasn't in attendance.
I was not
We
in
had,
attendance for the meeting.
There's 4 of us.
we had 4.
Oh, we did have 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We
my
only need
mistake.
3 to approve minutes, but we did have 4.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Bryant is abstaining. Anthony Zeiton
Yes.
and I, Jason Pro, vote yes. So we have 4 in favor with 1 abstention. Carries. If anyone is of a mind to pass over the next item, consideration of phrasing the committee's recommendation, I'm happy to pass over that for this evening because I'm just not prepared to talk about it. Any objection?
Through the chair, Fred, did you get my email today?
I did.
Okay.
I responded.
Sure you got it.
I did get it. We can, when we're ready to talk about it, you let me know. I guess is all I have to
Fair
say.
enough.
I
Fair
just,
enough.
I
Fair
think
enough.
that we're
all.
doing what we've always done, and what we always do is recommend approval with conditions. We do not say we approve the project. However, I understand maybe from some planning board applications, some applicants have represented it as we have approved, and that's not how the letters are written. It's not the intention. I believe that the chair makes it very clear, but when you want to have a more thorough discussion, we will.
I will commit to being prepared to discuss this item at our next scheduled meeting.
Fine by me. If the group wants to discuss it more, I will keep it on the agenda. If you don't feel it's necessary to talk about it anymore, I'll take it off the agenda and you won't have to look at it anymore. So however you
Okay.
want to do it.
Very good. Thank you, Fred. And then finally, next meeting date, June 14, 2022. Anything scheduled yet or no?
Not yet. Nope. So,
Okay.
I haven't really looked at the ZBA agenda. It gets pretty late around this time. So maybe we won't have to meet. Maybe we will. I don't know at this point.
I won't be here,
Okay.
Okay.
sorry.
Just for reference, it would be, I think, more beneficial if we only have that discussion about the board's recommendation on the wording when everyone is in attendance. So
Yes.
if
I would
Diane's
agree.
not going to be here, I will skip next month and you'll get a 2-month reprieve.
Eventually we'll get to it.
We will.
And Is there anything further? There is nothing further on the agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Diane Goldner, seconded by Teresa Capabianco. Any discussion about adjourning? Seeing and hearing none, this is a roll call vote. Diane Goldner,
Yes.
Teresa Capabianco,
Yes.
Bryant Furman,
Yes.
Anthony Zaitin,
Yes.
and I, Jason Perot, vote yes. So the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much. Appreciate your help tonight.
Good night.
Thank you
Thank
all.
everybody.
I
Thank you,
appreciate
Melanie.
it. Have a nice night.
You too.
Good night.